So we're going to start with the Dutch Pioneers panel, and that's Bas de Vries, the CEO of Florin, Arno Laeven, Head of Blockchain Lab from Philips, and Jouke Hofman, the General Manager of Bitonic. Give them a big hand. Well, isn't that an interesting, pioneers panel from the Netherlands? I mean, we have Philips, and Philip. I mean, how are you enjoying it, Arno? What did you think of the conference so far?
I'm enjoying it very much, and I think I just saw Gavin Wood on stage. I would say hats off to him. I mean, to be here, to stand up on the stage. I have to see the first bank that does that after money gets stolen from them. So really hats off to Gavin.
Yeah, that's true. And on the other hand, last year, Bas was here. I mean, I saw Bas first when you were 15 or something like that, when you were at the TED Talk or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then and now you have your startup, your Florin. And last year he was here, and he basically said, and then Mark said, "Why don't you work for us, ING?" And Bas said, "No." And now what's going on now?
Yeah, so Mark didn't give up the first time. So after my talk, he walked over to me, and he basically told me that maybe it wouldn't be I wouldn't work for ING, but we could work together. And right now we are very close to launching our collaboration.
Hooray! So that nice things come out of these conferences. And also, Mark, kudos to you that you don't give up. If somebody says, "Why would I work for ING?" and then the next year he's working with ING, then I think you're doing the right thing. How's your business doing, Bas?
Yeah, it's doing.
Explain a little bit about it.
Very well. Yeah. So last year I talked about on the Dutch Bitcoin conference. I talked about how Bitcoin and blockchain and smart contracts could impact the lives of my mom or my dad or my brothers. And I talked about transferring money, or in that case, Bitcoin, to any phone number in your address book. And after that, tying, Mark told about it in the morning as well, conditions to payments. So we launched that version of the app, and I gave it to my mom and I gave it to my dad, and they said, "Well, all right, very nice app, incredible that you built that, but why am I using Bitcoin? I don't understand Bitcoin, I don't like it. Why do I even need to use? Why do I even have to buy Bitcoin to use your app? I don't want that." So Mark, obviously, as head of transactions at ING, saw that coming as well. And he basically told me, "Hey, what you're doing with Bitcoin, you can also do with IBANs." So we are this close to a working prototype. We are ramping this up this week to transfer money IBAN to any phone number. And after that, we are going to we are looking to working with a blockchain implementation to basically facilitate if this then that payments, where any value value transfer that underpins the transaction is done automatically. So let's say that with some sort of payment service, you buy let's say a computer on the internet, and you want to make sure that that computer really arrives at your house. So you don't trust the seller. So then PostNL goes to your home, and obviously you get this track and trace code. And at the moment the delivery guy scans the code, the money is transferred from your IBAN account to the seller. So,
okay.
So that's what we're working
Okay,
on.
so you had a Bitcoin idea, and then you're helping out the old IBAN world. And
yes,
where basically you can send money to each other based on phone number.
Yeah, so basically the whole using Bitcoin or blockchain is the goal in itself. It's just like any programming language, or it's a tool to make people's lives easier. And inspired by Bitcoin, one of the features of Bitcoin is instant payments. It's basically programmable money. So you can create a wallet and write code that uses Bitcoin to facilitate all sorts of other things. And I took that as an inspiration, and I looked at it and I said to myself, well, okay, how are these solutions, how are they going to work for everyone here in the audience?
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thank you very much for making my life easier. What's the name of your wallet now?
Florin. It's called Florin.
Florin. Oh, I tried to find it, but it's Florin. F-L-O-R-I-N.
Yeah. So it's English for Florin.
Yeah, no, that's.
Oh yeah. That's an. No, it's not in the App Store. So we are 1 week for a test until we have a test version of IBAN to IBAN transactions. Mm-hmm. And then in July, so that's 1 month from now, everyone can download Florin and transact money to any other IBAN with instant confirmation.
Okay, but I need to. You can send it to people who are using the same app, and I basically need to know.
So that's the thing with Bitcoin as well. All Bitcoin is all Bitcoin. You don't have a ING Bitcoin bank and you have a Rabo Bitcoin bank, and it takes a day.
The IBAN. I mean, I can now send somebody to I can now from my IBAN to another IBAN. I can send it to and using a phone number, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but do we all have to use your app for that, or
no? You just share a link with. And you can share to anyone.
Okay. Yeah. So I transfer money and I get a text message or an email message and then I basically can transfer the money back. Okay. That's really
so that's the thing with blockchains as well. It's an open platform.
That's true. Okay. So that's okay. So it was really good for you to come to this conference. You made a turnaround and then you're going to use more of the tools.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, another startup is Arno Laeven. A nice little startup, from Philips Medical. and you are head of the blockchain lab, but Philips hasn't said yet what they will do with the blockchain, right? Can you explain a little bit how this came about?
Sure. So Philips is indeed a 125-year-old innovation machine. I have to say that now. And last year we were actually thinking about data and healthcare. And I think we have a better position towards blockchain than banks have, because we don't see it as a threat or anything. We see blockchain mainly as an opportunity. And we started with a question. And the question was, if you look at healthcare data and you want to connect all the data that is in these silos, for a very good reason, actually, because of privacy, because you don't want your medical record to be shared just by anyone, then how could you still come up and create a system where you could use that data in a meaningful way across all these silos? And that is actually how we got to start to think about distributed computing, about decentralized systems and blockchain. So we really started with that question. And we very much believe that blockchain is a tool that can enable us to use this data, which is in all these databases spread around, and to make a meaningful connection and build innovations on top of that. So that is the shortest version that I can give you.
Does that mean that a couple of years from now, if I go in the hospital and I do a scan, it will ask for my QR code and put the key of that information into the blockchain, in which I can basically send around?
Could be. I think that's very important to note that our idea is not that we will put medical data on the blockchain.
No, of course not. No, but the key
could be, yes. Yeah. So we have your identity, we have the identity of the machine, we can guarantee the integrity of the data, and then we can leave an audit trace on what happened in that specific machine, for instance.
Yeah. You have an incredible complex field, right? I mean, there's these huge, these hospitals with enormous amount of data. You have you have more and more connection with the machines. All the machines are basically connected, and you have access to them. And then we have an incredible complex machine to do invoicing and that kind of stuff. How could the blockchain? I mean, you told me there are now 4 conferences on blockchain and medical information alone. How could blockchain, in general, change the medical world?
Well, first of all, I think that's very important. Until now, a lot of the innovators in healthcare have been talking how privacy withholds them from innovating. And I think this is a very long discussion here in the Netherlands. There has been a very long discussion on creating one state-owned medical record, and for very good reasons that's not happening and will not happen. I think that we have to start to flip that around and think about how privacy can be built into our innovations. And that is the way that we are looking at it right now, and that is the way that we are going to change it now. Sort of an end play that we could see is that I think that the silos will exist for a very long time, but blockchain can create a sort of a Google Maps towards the data which is in different silos, and make sure that the right people get the right access to the right data. And if we have that, and it goes way beyond medical data actually, I think that I read somewhere a quote that 80% of the data that says something about your health is not even medical data, but is also, for instance, financial data, other kind of data. How are you feeling? What is, what you post somewhere. And if you can combine that without us seeing that, and that's very important, and with the user, the consumer in control of that data, I think that is very valuable. And then finally we have a broader system that will enable data to be used from all kinds of sources and to be combined and to do meaningful stuff with that.
Okay, the beautiful oil between all these silos.
Yep.
So Jeroen Tas likes innovation. Is he also enthusiastic about this direction? Is this a board level thing, or are you trying to stay under the radar and not make not too much noise about this whole blockchain expertise?
No. I think that so we started out the two of us, Bart, who is in the audience here, and me, and we were the guys sending each other articles from CoinDesk for approximately 5-6 months. And then we wrote a white paper and we presented that to our executives. And that was like a perfect storm, because that was when blockchain was on the cover of Economist. Our executives went to the World Economic Forum hearing about blockchain. So all of a sudden there was room to do this. So we are very much backed by our senior executives, which is a good thing, because otherwise I don't think that you will be able to do real stuff. And that is what we're trying to do.
Okay. What will you do in Philips? What is the stage? Are you now basically showing everybody what can be done, and you're doing more awareness stuff, or are you also doing practical
No, very practical.
projects?
So build and learn, but build and learn in a safe environment, in a sandbox environment where we can break things. Especially with medical data, you don't want to play around too much in the open. So we're really in the sandbox environment, build and learn. We initially had a runtime of 12 to 18 months, and then one of the senior execs said, well, we want to see results already in 4 or 5 months' time. So we are we geared up, and in July we will present our first findings to our board.
Yeah, but Mark was talking at R3 that they had prototypes in 1 day, 2 days. I mean, really short turnaround times. But build and learn, but in an innocent way. Is that?
Yeah, it's a little bit long. We have a little bit longer horizon, I think, to build. But basically, that's it. So a couple of months building, and then take the learnings.
Okay, cool. Well, so next time we can have our own medical conference here on the blockchain next year, when it basically gets evolved a little bit more.
Yes,
Thanks
absolutely.
very much. Jouke, Hofman, how has blockchain been doing, or how's Bitcoin been doing in your company in the Netherlands? What happened to traffic, usage? What's the state of the Bitcoin in the Netherlands?
Yeah, we had a huge spike in 2013. It was in the 8 o'clock news. It was everywhere in every newspaper. Subsided a little bit 2014, 2015, and lately, last few months has been almost crazy again.
We're back to the old craze.
Yeah, well, not totally back, but yeah, definitely up.
Yeah. Okay, and people are people using it for particular things like remittance, or do you see a change there? I mean, we saw with Paolo that gambling is out and the dark side is out, and it's more merchants accepting. Is that also in the Netherlands? Do you see the acceptance growing?
Yeah, we see new customers every day, a lot of them. And what they actually do with the bitcoins, we don't know. We don't ask. But we do keep track of the bitcoins, and we see a lot of investments. But yeah, definitely a lot of questions about remittances as well.
Okay. So you built a blockchain for this conference, and everybody basically has a wallet and then can basically start trading all kinds of stuff. And what kind of purposes does it have, except for a demo project for today?
Yeah, so technically it's not a blockchain, so we call it just a chain. We don't have a decentralized network, it's just one computer doing the transactions.
The code you could run on multiple computers, and then it's a...
You could, yeah, but at the moment it's just one computer, so we call it a chain.
Yeah.
It's more to showcase what's possible with just the Bitcoin script. It's based on the Bitcoin script. You can do the if then else, the private keys, just like Bitcoin. You can use the Bitcoin libraries to develop transactions on it. And yeah, we wanted to show how easy it is to create one, create a wallet, create a platform to do transactions. And yeah, so we built this in a month. It's really alpha. Don't build DAOs on the top of it. It's a bad idea. But yeah, I mean, in the future we want to use it for every very different stuff. We have an idea where we want to have our own shares of our own company on our own chain, basically being okay, I don't know the English word for it, but
yeah. So we're going to have sort of a crowdsourcing campaign. And then you get shares of Bitonic, and they are going to be stored in a register, which is a chain or a blockchain thing.
And we could use it to hand out shares to our own employees. And because it's a Bitcoin script, we can say, no, this transaction is locked for the first half year, and only then you can transfer it further. And I think we see the future of blockchain, where we have a lot of different blockchains all around the world, and some are centralized, some are decentralized. And that doesn't matter because the transaction scripts are going to make it able to transfer tokens from one chain to the other.
Mm-hmm. And, so let me ask you, we had the internet and we had the intranet. Okay, so you have the blockchain, the blockchain from Bitcoin, and you have there are free blockchain, Ethereum, and a whole bunch of other ones. Now we have yours. So it's going to be easier and easier. IBM was saying, hey, we have a system, you can have a blockchain environment with one key, and you can use it for 30 days. You can have your own blockchain and use it completely. Is that a little bit going to be like internet and intranet? Or should I look at it differently, and that the intranets are much more important than that one blockchain from the Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin going to slowly go away and be left as one application, or is it really going to stay important as a blockchain?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the decentralized blockchain at the moment, and probably will be in the upcoming years. But we're going to look at applications. So we are handing out candies in our own app. Those candies cost a couple of cents. And if you want to transact all those candies on the Bitcoin blockchain, it's just too expensive. And with your metaphor, with the intranet, we have our own intranet at our office where we broadcast music and a lot of traffic. We couldn't do that on the internet itself.
Well, now you can, but you couldn't in the past.
Okay, good point. Yeah.
But you think, I mean, it's not going to be. Is the Bitcoin in 5 years? Is the Bitcoin blockchain, just one of them, and is the other side much bigger, or is it still going to be a very important one?
It's going to be an important one. Practice shows us that it's really hard to build a new decentralized system in itself. And I think Bitcoin did a great job, so it will probably stay here.
And it's the first, yeah. And it's also huge. Yeah? I mean, Frank was saying the Swedish startup, they got 35 million, and they built 4% of the mining, and that was racks and racks, but there were thousands and thousands and thousands of computers. It's really huge in terms of amount of processors, or in nodes, how do you calculate that?
Yeah, it has grown significantly. And we started in 2012, and when I talked about Bitcoin back then, people were really looking at me saying, okay, this guy is totally crazy. And yeah, we have a wall with newspaper articles on them, and when the first article in the newspaper was like, oh wow, the mainstream media is picking it up. Yeah. And now our whole wall is filled with newspapers.
No, that's true. But I meant really the amount of computers. There's a whole bunch of computers in the blockchain. Now, what is your business going to be in 2 years? Where are you going to make your money? Is it basically buying and selling Bitcoins? Is it trading, or do you have other aspirations?
Both, probably. We will probably do trading as well. People need Bitcoin to do Bitcoin transactions, so we're going to support that. And yeah, we really want to dive into the older chains that are out there and have our own chains as well.
Okay, all right. So he made their own chain for our own conference, and I think it's really nice. These are 3 people who are basically going to change part of their world. There's a lot of work to be done. We just started. The medical world needs their own conference here in the Netherlands, and I think it's wonderful. I hope you all buy your own lottery, and I'm going to use your Florin very soon, because I cannot wait to have an easier way to get around that old system, that IBAN thing. So thanks for solving it, and thanks for landing up with Mark. Give them a big hand. Thank you.